right. Welcome to another episode of Adding Perspective with Josh. I'm Josh.
I'm Coach Nrgy.
I'm Aphrodite.
All right. So this week, spending habits. The difference in spending habits in relationships. We're going to talk about that a little bit, you know. Everybody has different personalities, obviously different incomes, you know, different ways of doing things when it comes to their own personal money. But when you're in a relationship, you know, sometimes people think that it should look different, right? Like it should look a little bit more streamlined when it comes to how you spend your money or how a person spends money in a relationship. You know, that's kind of what we're going to kind of talk about a little bit today. But my first take on that is, yeah, there's definitely, depending on the nature of the relationship, you can tell who spends what, like, especially depending on, you know, the type of thing they may get or the type of things that they may do. You can tell that in any given relationship, there's a difference, you know. You have that person that might be a little bit frugal, you know, they don't want to spend too much money. And then you have that other person, you know, they don't mind spending money. Like they don't at all. But, you know, I think that there is a balance with that too. But I think that sometimes when it comes to like finances and stuff like that too, I think that's like a hard topic for some people to talk about in relationships. What y'all think? Like, do you think that, you know, sometimes when it comes to, you know, having the financial conversation about what you should spend your money on, do you think that there's sometimes a hard conversation?
Oh yeah, sometimes it could be a difficult conversation depending on who you having, the person you're with and how they like to address financials. Because some people don't like to address it, but it should be addressed. Especially, you know, y'all plan on spending a lifetime together. We got to talk about how the money goes. You know, I personally think, you know, everybody can have their own separate account, and then you have an account where we have to put money toward like bills, that type of stuff. So to make sure, especially if they don't really feel like they want to disclose what all they spend their money on, then what you spend your money on is what you spend your money on. But long as we know the main focus is taken care of, then I don't see an issue with that.
So as long as a person takes care of their main bills and stuff like that, whatever they do with their personal money is whatever they do with their personal money.
That's their personal money, yes. That's how I see it. As long as they don't interfere with our main net, we good.
I mean, I know I can see how that would be, I think, either a very freeing thing, but also a small point of contention too. Mm-hmm. Especially depending on what exact activities this person may be into when it comes to their personal money and stuff like that. Like some people like to have a say-so in that, you know, like especially depending on, you know, what type of activity it is. So say, for instance, you know, with your personal money, you like to, you know, give it to people that take their clothes off. So, I mean, this, just saying, right? Like,
I can't with Josh today.
You said that whatever you do with your personal money, you just do that with your personal money. I mean, but, you know, I can see how that could be a small little issue, you know?
I think that's contingent on who you with now.
I mean,
some folks might not have no problem with it. Some people might have a big problem with that.
But you said we can do anything with that personal money, though. Like, you know,
I think that's contingent, Josh, on who you with. Because that's your personal money now, but that don't mean, you know what I'm saying, they might be accepting of, you know, you throwing them dollars at the strippers. They might not like that. They might not be feeling it.
just say it. Like, this might have money and stuff like that. Trying to help somebody get through college. You know what I'm saying? Just I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. I can't relate. I'm just talking about in general.
Yeah.
Two separate accounts, and then we have our main part account where we don't affect our main focus. But of course, there might need to be a conversation. That's the only thing I'm saying.
So do you think that should be criteria for how a person spends their personal money in a relationship? Do you think that should be a conversation too? Like, they can spend their money on A, B, C, D, but not these other letters over here. They can't spend their money on this particular stuff right there. Do you think that should be a conversation?
It could be a conversation, but that's a personal conversation.
Okay.
It could be a conversation. Like, I mean, it just depends. That's like, you know what I'm saying? We might can support, a college, not we, but they might can support a college student, you know what I'm saying? Who knows? I don't know their financial situation. So they might be able to support the college student once a month. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Nrgy, what do you think? Okay, what's your thoughts about this? Okay, I'm curious right now. Okay, so do you think that should be a communication aspect to what the person spends their personal money on?
To a degree, yes. For me, I think that it will get answered when as you get to know that person. Like, when you know who the person is, you're going to know if they're into these extracurricular activities or not. Do you want your person spending money on bringing in a bunch of paraphernalia from sports teams, or in putting them, on the walls of your house? Like, is this person that you're dating a sports fanatic? Or is this person you're dating into using recreational drugs and things like that? Like, is that something that you have to be mindful of or have to wonder about? It's their extra money or it's their personal money. And do they want to spend it on buying, some smoke of some sort? So for me, the conversation will be had when you're getting to know a person and learning the things that they like to do, their hobbies. What are those other activities they like to get involved in? What are the collectibles that they like to purchase? So yeah, it will happen. Yeah, you definitely do need to have a conversation, because if you're not into certain things, you're totally against certain objects or materials or certain services, then yeah, you definitely want to have the conversation. But what will it look like? Is it a direct conversation, a specific conversation you're having about that topic? Maybe, maybe not. Or is it something that you find out just in time as you're getting to know the character of a person or what this person likes to do in their spare time type of thing?
Bam! Nrgy put it right on point. See, I love her. She brought it right home for me. She understood the assignment.
Okay, she gave us the I want to say the corporate line. Like, she just like all that. Like, she did. It was good though.
It was great.
It was good. It was. But it just seems like the consensus is like either way, you're gonna have to say something about what you spend your personal money on. Like, you're gonna tell the other person something.
I mean, if you're in a relationship with someone, a serious relationship, committed, especially a marriage where you're living together, then yes, like, it's going there. To me, that definitely shouldn't be one of those topics that are not talked about. That shouldn't be one of those things where, oh, this is my business, this is mine, you have yours over there, leave me alone, let me do what I want to do. No, because if you're sharing your life with someone, then that's a part of your life. To me, it definitely does need to be discussed.
I'm with you on that. I just thought it was pretty interesting how, when you look at, finances and how people spend their money from a relationship standpoint, how people view finance, right? Especially if you happen to be one that makes, more money than the other person, like sometimes that dynamic is a little different. Like sometimes that dynamic is more, since I make more, I can do what I want, right? Like some people seem to think that, right? They seem to think that, hey, just because I have the means, I get to do it, right? Just say it. Other relationships, you may have those people that make around the same amount of money, and then the conversation may be a little bit easier. But it just definitely depends on the dynamic of the relationship, though. Like it does. But I've been seeing that if one person makes a little bit more than the other, it's hard to find a middle ground in that sometimes. Because sometimes people seem to think that, it should be a 50-50 split or something like that. But 50-50 may not be a split for the other person if they make more money.
Right.
It may not be. And the other person, they can be like upset by the end of the month when they don't have a lot more money than the other person. It don't go well. It doesn't. So do you think that like even when, you talk about like different bank accounts and stuff like that, there should be a percentage shifted into these different accounts and stuff like that, like an actual percentage, or should it just be a dollar amount?
I think that's according to up to the individual. Once they talk about it, that's the individual conversation they will have amongst each other. Percentage might work for one person, and a dollar amount might work for another person. So that would be a conversation they have during that financial conversation. Everything is not like cookie cutter, straight to this is what it is. Even the conversation might change on down the line. Like percentage might have worked when they first, or dollar amount might have worked when they first started. But, things might have, finances changed, things changed, and they might have had to switch to a dollar amount.
Yeah. So more of an ongoing conversation.
Of course. That's ongoing. Your finances changing. It's ongoing.
Yeah.
Things happen.
Yeah.
Y'all might want to buy a house. You know what I'm saying? Y'all might want to buy investment properties. Y'all might want to invest in different ventures or whatever. So things happen, so that's an ongoing conversation you have to have.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're definitely right about that. I think we all have our own perspectives about like, percentages versus dollar amount and something like that. I might be a dollar amount person. I might be, might be a dollar amount person more than percentage, because
I'm a dollar amount person.
Those percentages could be a little off sometimes.
They could.
Like you said, 25% of this, all this kind of stuff. My 25% don't look like this 25%. So it's like, this may not be, this number ain't looking right. Like,
I'm a dollar amount person, personally.
See, this
I am. I'm a dollar amount person, but everybody might not roll like that. You know what I'm saying? So you have to figure what works.
You're right. You do. Just look at that percentage, though. Okay, like if you percentage person, look at it. Okay, look at that percentage pretty good. Okay. Cause hey, it ain't nothing wrong with it, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm being funny, but don't get me wrong about the percentage thing. Like it's okay if you want to do a percentage, but look at it. Look at it.
Nrgy, are you like either or are you like really stuck on one, either percentage or dollar amount, or either one works for you?
So I go the road less complicated, where
okay,
that we both put everything in, Everything goes in from both sides. Everything goes in. And then we divvy up how things need to be divvied up or prioritized based off of bills, savings, investments, emergency. But everything from both sides, for me, goes in.
Okay.
But this divvy thing, 'cause you said divvy. So this divvy thing, how do we determine the dividend type stuff? Like, is that a percentage or is that like a number?
So, I mean, so it's based off of the expenses of the household, the relationship, the couple, if there's kids involved or not. So, you're going to take care of your main things first, your shelter, your food, medical stuff, all that kind of stuff. Then what's left over, you divvy up another certain amount for savings or investments, divvy up whatever's left over to have a certain amount go into traveling or leisure, then divvy up a certain amount to go, you know what I'm saying? And as you divvy it up, the pot is getting smaller and smaller, but both sides are in it for the same exact amount, regardless how much each person makes, because we are living together as one instead of here's yours over here, here's mine over here. No, we're doing this together to take care of us both. So it's, to answer your question, it's based off of the expenses of the household. How much is the insurance plan? How much is the mortgage? How much are your car payments if you're making payments or the car is paid off? Do you have kids? If so, okay, what ages are the kids? Are they into extracurricular activities, or do you have one that's in college? Are you having to put money towards, their tuition and all of that kind of stuff? So the simple answer is everyone puts in everything, and then we pay for the whole household out of that. So there's no flat fee or no percentage. So
Okay. There is a percentage, right? Like, I'm not sure if Aphrodite was thinking about it. Were you doing you had to be listening to that, right? Like you had to be listening to the same things I was listening to. And at the tail end of that, the very tail end of that, there is gonna be some type of percentage, dollar, you know what I'm saying? Like, there is.
Because you said get smaller and smaller. Yeah. Uh-huh. And then so when all that is done, okay, so when all of that is done, and we're just saying this amount, are we splitting that amount? Or you get 10, I get 5? Like, how does that amount between the relationship, how does that amount come between, like, where it's going? How does it go? Like,
so it depends.
Is it go? You get it. So second, it's $100.
No, I get it.
You get $50. I get $50.
I got it. So
if it's $5.25 left, how we gonna bust that up? You know what I'm saying?
Right. You can't split that in the middle. No. So if you kind of looking at some of the different buckets, if we use that term, as I was describing it, as you start going through it, you're taking care of, in those buckets, you're taking care of both needs and wants, to where if there's something left over, if every cent has not been spent, then at that point, you can either see if one person may need to allocate whatever is left over, if anything, to something else that may be more for him or her. And then maybe it may be different for the next month. But is there just a rule month to month? For me, no, because we're taking care of both necessities and wants in the allocation of all of those other buckets. And if there's something remaining, it's, we're going to talk about it. We're going to communicate about it. Do I need it for this month? If not, do you need it for this month? No. Okay. Well, then let's just add that extra to our savings, or add that extra to charity, or add that extra to, whatever vacation we're planning. because in the buckets, we're taking care of both needs and wants to make sure that both people are being considered equally and not one over the other to where we have to get a calculator. Well, last month you got 60 and I only got 40. This, to me, I keep the complication out. Let's take care of both of us as we are allocating this money. And then if there's something left over, let's discuss it in the moment. Okay, it's the month of April. Do we need this for anything in particular? No, but come August, we might need that, or I personally may need it for something else that's coming up. It's not that difficult.
Oh, so you're counting on people to be selfless, right? Like you count on people. That's what you count on.
But the question was for me. The question was directed to,
I know.
What do I do? So that's me,
I know.
But yes, we hope that people would be selfless, and would be considerate of their partner and not go into a relationship trying to make sure I get mine, But that's just me, I like to keep it simple. She asked me, that's me. That's my opinion.
I know that.
Nobody else has to do it.
At the tail end, that's what I realized, right? Like I realized that, right? So that's why I'm not knocking it. So I get it. I get it.
It requires two people who truly trust each other as well.
Yeah.
Who doesn't have the mindset or the mentality of needing to count, needing to keep up with, okay, well, how many months did this person, or is their 50% the same as my 50%? Or even if their flat fee dollar amount is the same as my flat fee dollar amount, it's technically the same thing. So for me, no, that's why it's so important for people to get to know their person before getting into a marriage where they're combining finances in order to take all of that nonsense or things that people unfortunately are having to be worried about and concerned about. Take it out of the picture by being very intentional and doing your due diligence when you're meeting someone and just being with someone who is on that same type of thought process and who has the same type of mentality when it comes to, hey, let's take care of both of us through the allocation of everything, to where you don't have to say, well, you looked out for yourself last month. When are we ever going to look out for me?
Yeah. Okay. I get that. Yeah, I get that. That's a new way of looking at it. It is. Look at that percentage, though. I mean, I keep coming back to that. It's like finances.
You have to understand there are some relationships, especially, well, not just nowadays, but even just over time, where one person was the breadwinner and the other person, just took care of the home or the kids, was the stay-at-home parent. Or if there were no kids, there was still just one person that just did not work. So that's where so how's the other person who's not actually bringing in income? How are they going to contribute? And then from there, where's their percentage going to come from? Or from there, where's their flat fee, their dollar amount is going to come from?
I think most times in those bigger situations, it comes from household duties, pretty much. Like that's how they contribute.
Exactly. So they're contributing something where there's no dollar to count. And so looking at percentages, it's literally going to be the one person who's working, they're putting in 100%. Or if we're looking at dollar amount, it's that one person who's bringing in the income that is putting in all of their dollars. So, I am more, hate to put a label on it, but just for purposes and sake of this conversation, old school or traditional, old fashioned, whatever, that's just, where my beliefs and my mentality and my way of life and the way that I make choices and decisions, it comes from the traditional, I hate to use those terms, but the old fashioned ways.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that you're right when it comes to like that different side of it, as far as like if one person works, another person doesn't, it's still going to be kind of that difference there. But I just think that finance is just such a big part of contention sometimes when it comes to like merging lives and relationships sometimes. And I don't think that, people devote enough communication or enough time to like working out those differences, like between like spending habits and where money's gonna go, how much money is gonna be left, and just really getting down to like the details of that. Because to me, I think most times people don't want to touch that. They don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like at all.
That's true.
And that lets you know that it's going to be that relationship that is ultimately going to have a financial breakdown. The relationship may have a breakdown due to the finances because they didn't discuss it at the beginning. Like, you cannot intentionally leave a part of life out of a relationship if you plan on that relationship being long-term and healthy. You can't, as uncomfortable as it may be, still have the conversation. Just because it's hard, just because it may be difficult, just because it may be uncomfortable does not mean the appropriate choice is to avoid it. No. If avoiding it is the preferred response, then getting into a relationship with anyone and sharing your life with someone is just not the right time right now.
Yeah. I think that's just one of those things, though, is that sometimes, depending on the nature of the relationship, it's maybe an easier choice not to run towards a point of contention with somebody. Like, if you know that a person's real sensitive about their finances and stuff like that, that's not going to be the first conversation you're going to want to have. It's not. For anybody, because it's like I said, it's an unknown thing. Like, you don't want to have a conversation with somebody and then the conversation goes south, and then y'all not talking. Like y'all not even communicating anymore.
Are we talking pre-relationship, during dating phase, or after the relationship?
Yeah, I mean, it would be either or, because if even dating a person that finances is a hot topic for them, and they get pretty antsy when you start talking about finances and stuff like that, that's not going to be the first conversation that you just want to just run into, because it's an unknown thing. It's that fear of the unknown. You don't know how that conversation might go.
Right. However, I would challenge that and say, for some people who are being intentional and who's not out here wanting to waste time, that would be one of the first conversations to go to run towards. Because if that's one of the topics, because we all know that is a very important thing that has to be discussed, that needs to be discussed. And if you can't even get past that, then for some people who are intentional, for some people who are not wanting to waste time, then they will run to that. And if the other person, the recipient, is like, no, I don't want to talk about it, it's too sensitive, it's a hot topic, then that gives that person the answer of saying, okay, well, it's not meant for us to be together, at least not right now. So the topics that are difficult to have are the best ones to have immediately or up front, because that's going to give you the answer of to continue with this person or not, to waste time or not, to see how this person will react when they're uncomfortable or not. And when you're getting to know someone, you want to learn those things. And it's an opportunity, take advantage of it, welcome it. I would welcome that type of thing, because it will show me the character of this possible partner, to let me know how are they going to handle sensitive topics? How are they going to handle topics when they're uncomfortable? So I can see, okay, well, how does this person handle when the going gets tough?
Mm-hmm. No, I think that you're right about that. It is. I think having those types of conversations with the person that you're actively pursuing is a good thing. Like it is. It's a very good thing to actually do. It's just getting yourself to having that conversation, pushing yourself to have that conversation. That I think that will always be the challenge for people. Like it would. Because I mean, no matter what stage in life you are, nobody likes difficult conversations. Like nobody. Like no matter how confident you are, you still gonna have that hint of, anxiousness or nervousness trying to have a conversation with someone else that may not take it well, This happens. It's just part of it. But I think that this thing about spending habits, though, is that you can't change other people either. Like that's the other part of that too. So even if you do have a conversation with somebody and you tell them your point of view about how much they spending or what they doing with their money and stuff like that, hopefully that person wants to hear it. That's the biggest thing. Because sometimes people don't want to hear it. They don't. Especially when it comes to like people dealing with their own money, the money that they make, the money that they work for. There's parts to it.
Yeah. And that will let a person know if that's their person or not.
I mean, honestly, when you look at it that way, though, I think that's like easier said than done, though, because a lot of people, depending on the stage in life you are, always want to see the best in people, Like, even if they don't accept that particular topic well, they still want to say, oh, that person, they have other enduring qualities and stuff like that. So they're willing to kind of look past certain things.
Sure. But it's always going to be in the back of that person's mind. It is going to come up again. So it's like, sure, you're right. But it's like, how long are you going to be able to bite your tongue on that topic? How long are you going to be willing to not talk about that thing if it's important to you, but not necessarily your partner? Sure. Put that in that 20% that a person of what what you don't desire about your person, but they have the other 80. Sure. Because no one out here is perfect. And you're not going to be equally matched across all levels in all areas. So it just really depends on if the finance topic, which everyone knows is a huge factor in breakups and or divorces, but if that topic is not high or important to them, then sure, it can absolutely work if they find someone else who doesn't care to discuss it either. It's absolutely possible.
So, should a person's debt or credit score affect the way you view a person from a financial standpoint? Like their credit score or their debt ratio, especially when it comes to like, spending habits. And I'm just talking in terms of if you're in a relationship with that person. Should that affect the conversation you have with that person about like, how the money is going to be spent? If they have a lot of debt or if they got, not so great credit.
Is that a question for both of us or in response to something I was saying?
No, just in that's just an open question. Though, like, should that really play a part?
Aphrodite?
Yeah.
No, quick thing. Go ahead.
Oh.
No, because I was just doing a lot of talking, so that's why I was like, is it for both of us? If so, I want to let somebody else get in too.
It does play a part. They debt, their credit, all that plays a part. Y'all together, y'all trying to be together, y'all you building stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like even when buying properties and stuff, it might not, you know what I'm saying? You might not want to put everything, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So what do we need to do to get where we need to go? Because we're growing. My thing is your focus should be y'all growing together. That's what I would be focused on. We're growing together. So if we're growing together and we're moving together and we're shaking together, then one part about these finances is your debt. You know, so when you trying to get things, what they look at how much debt versus your income. They look at all that type of stuff. So why wouldn't we look at that? And we're together. What do we have to tackle to make sure you're okay and I'm okay? So when we go get whatever we trying to get, it won't be, you know, we won't have to come up against that obstacle. So it's definitely a discussion, and it's definitely a thing, you know, where it has to be talked about and addressed.
Nrgy?
Shut up. I was just trying to be polite, okay? I don't want to hog the microphone, okay?
I'm not.
So, to me, it's not more about the score as it is about what's behind the score. Yes, I do.
Go ahead. Elaborate. Explain. Like,
Yes, I do. I would want to have a conversation about, because debt to income, that is huge. That's going to let me know, are you overextending yourself? You know, are you spreading yourself too thin out here? Are we going to have to be concerned about robbing Peter to pay Paul because of how, you know, you may be throwing your money out here? So in that aspect of simply wanting to learn and understand this person's level of financial responsibility, absolutely. For me, it's not about, what is this person's credit score? You know, just because it may be high, doesn't mean that they're necessarily good with money. You know, right. So score, cool, but let's see what's behind the score so I can learn your money habits and learn your philosophy on money and spending money versus saving money.
That's a good way of looking at it. It is. I think I kind of am in line with those type of approaches too, because like I said, person's credit score is important. It's kind of important. And the way they spend their funds is also equally important. It is. It's very much more important. But, you know, investigation, like kind of like you said, just kind of figuring out, like, you know, the person, try to figure out how they move as far as like what they do with their money. If they do like to save is the other thing too. Is that like a goal for them? Like, do you want to save for the future? Do you want to retire with a certain amount of money? And like, do you want to travel or do other things and all that kind of stuff too? Just all the random conversations that you should technically have with a person, especially initially. A lot of people wait later to have that conversation, which is nothing wrong with that either, as long as you actually have the conversation. But I mean, like I said, this whole topic about finances and the way that people spend money is an ongoing debate, I think, to a certain degree, because I mean, with the nature of relationships and the way that things evolve, especially with the economy and stuff like that, like you have to consistently talk about finances with the other person and just like where you're at as an individual with finances. I think that's a struggle with people in relationships too. It's like sometimes, you know, if you're doing bad and if you need money and stuff like that, how do you tell the other person, you know, you're not doing so well and you need assistance? I've seen that a lot with certain relationships where, you know, a person may not always have the money that they need to cover certain things, but they don't want to ask the other person because it's a sense of pride or embarrassment or anything like that. Like that, those kind of things come up too. Right.
And while people are in relationships or in the dating phases?
Relationships.
Relationships.
Relationships. And I mean, even in dating phases, depending on the type of phase that you're in, like if you're in a dating phase and you already living with the person and stuff like that, it's like, okay, well, yeah, that idea will come into play then too. But technically, if you're in a dating phase, I don't think nobody should be asking nobody for no money. I tell you that right now. Don't do it.
Right, exactly.
Don't do it.
That's what I was getting to.
Don't do it.
Yes.
Like they start asking you for money when you dating. The exit is stage left. Okay.
Yes.
That way. Okay. Lamut. Okay. I don't know you like that. But okay.
Yes. Too soon.
Just a tad. Just a tad. And we're doing that on the second date. That ain't good. Just no. It's like people be telling you, this might be a little side thing here too.
Are we about to go left?
Just a little bit.
Okay, just a little bit.
Right. So when you out on a date with a person, right, and you know for a fact that person is only there for a free meal and a drink, then that might not be the person for you. Okay, okay. Because a lot of people, they don't want to reach for that check. I need you to know that. They don't want to, when the check comes to the table, you see the first person be reaching for it and stuff like that. And the waiters, they be real slick too, right? They look at, they be sizing the person up, and then they just slip it to the person that look like they go pay, right? They just... See, you gotta notice that kind of stuff right there. You do, right? Okay.
So when you're in the dating stage, Josh, do you like put a limit on like what we spending on that first date? Like I've heard people say, "Oh, $25." I don't know if $25 is worth these days, but like, is it a limit? We ain't going over $25.
I mean, it ain't gonna be no 5-star restaurant, not no first, second date. Nah. We going somewhere like Chili's,
So we're gonna get the 2 for $25.
Yeah, Fridays, like a little.
That is terrible.
I mean, what? Hey, like
No judgment.
I'm just saying, right? Like you.
Listen, I ain't judging. I'm just saying.
I don't care, man. I don't care if you're judge. I'm just saying, like. I'm just saying, right? Like
I'm just saying, for the people in the back, they want to know, like, do you put up?
This is different. This is a different world out here now.
It is.
The way that people present themselves, they have to remember the way that you present yourself initially has to be the way that you continue to present yourself. Because a lot of people, the way that they present themselves initially is not them. Like, it's not who they are. It's like a false claim or false shadow or something like that. Like, you present yourself as this person, you really not this person. Like, since these people taking individuals to 4-star, 5-star restaurants on a first, second date, all this kind of stuff, knowing full well that you can't continue to do that the whole entire time, the rest of the relationship. Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do that? That kind of stuff. Like, people living beyond their means because they want to, like, really show a person that they're different.
Waste of time. But
yes, it is. Yeah, it is. Okay. Hey, that's why you should start low and work yourself up right there. Just start. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. What? No?
I mean, are we talking restaurant money? Or are we talking quality of person?
No, we're talking about restaurants as far as like you're spending, like as far as like spending there. Now, we're not talking about the person, because the person depends on the quality of person that you're looking for, right? Like, I mean, if your standards are low, you might get a low standard person, right? Like you might get a lower standard person.
That's what I was wondering when you say start.
No, okay. I'm not talking about that. No,
okay.
No, yeah, that's a little bit too much. That's like rolling the dice right there. You don't want that. But I'm just telling you, that's the way that I said earlier is the best way to determine like where this relationship's gonna go. That first, second, third date, stuff like that, and that person don't ever reach for that check. Okay, take a mental note of that, right? Just take a little mental of that one right there. Okay, like that. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to go Dutch. Okay, like just hey, split that up. Yeah, just. What? No, that's okay.
Listen, that's your choice.
Hey, right.
I see y'all looking at me like, I know he did. I know he did.
No, because you're gonna have people looking at me sideways because I'm not reaching for on date 1, 2, or 3. Like literally, I'm not reaching.
Oh man. I mean, I'm just saying, like.
But I'm that same person that will take care of a whole date as well. But just because I don't reach on dates 1, 2, or 3, that doesn't mean
I'm out just to get. I'm just out to get the meal.
Thank you.
That does not mean that.
Thank you.
Because I'm not reaching either. I'm about to tell you that now. I'm not reaching.
But it's so
if we had a pre-conversation, that might be a little bit different.
Yes. Right.
But me automatically reaching, I shall not, I will not, I do not. But that does not mean I would not do it.
Right.
I'm just saying I'm not automatically reaching. That's it.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, there's a stigma out there right there. Because, like I said, there's a bunch of people paying for free meals out there. Like paying for a lot of... Because
they're not qualifying their dates first. That is a whole nother show topic. Put this on the list of things that we're going to talk about. That's because that person is not qualifying the individual for the date.
Qualifying the individual, what you mean?
Meaning
she said that's another topic.
Okay.
We got to talk about that on another topic.
Yeah.
Because that's true.
We definitely gonna get into that one because I need to hear more information about this qualifying thing. I do, okay? Because
they money spent in heaven. I ain't reaching for that. I ain't reaching for that ticket. I'm about to let you know.
Dang. Okay.
Dutch. Look, the only thing Dutch over here is the language that I'm speaking. Okay.
Oh man, see, it all ties into spending habits, don't it? Okay, just tell you, okay.
Not necessarily just because I ain't reached for that ticket. Don't mean I got a good or bad spending habit. Like that doesn't tell that I got a bad or good spending habit. I'm just not reaching for the ticket. Right. And that doesn't mean I'm frugal either.
I mean, sure, you right. Like I said, you right. It doesn't.
You ain't gonna determine that. You ain't gonna base that off the fact that I ain't reached for a ticket, honey. No, we gonna stop that right now.
I'm just saying, right? Like there's a whole bunch of things that get certain people when it comes to like paying for different things and stuff like that. Like it happens, Some people
do you expect your dates to go or to reach across between dates 1 and 3?
I mean, I honestly, I don't have any predetermined expectations or anything like that, but a reach is nice. I ain't gonna lie to you, okay? Like I could just go ahead and say like, nah, I got it, stuff like that. But if you ain't even, please just give me this, right? Like just like you know what I'm saying, like it makes the person feel, good. just a little bit good about that. Like it does, okay? Because, oh man, because most times people don't say that. Like they don't say that they think like you. People think like that. Like they have that thought, especially initially. They may not always have that thought throughout the whole process or anything like that. But initially though, when you don't even like know the person per se that well, it comes to mind a little bit. Just
well, don't have that thought. Make it known, because that don't necessarily mean that. I'm just saying.
Especially we both
like how is that person
stuff like that? We both make a good amount of living and stuff like that. Everything seems to be good with that. You give me something.
Well, maybe that should be talked about before the date. How about that? I don't know, but me and Nrgy have said we're not reaching, so we already know.
Hey, I mean, I can't say there's anything wrong with that. Okay, I'm just my perspective. That's all it is. Oh man. But yeah, spending habits, right? Like we talked a bit considerable amount about spending habits and what people should talk about in regards to their relationship and stuff like that. Definitely have the conversation. That's the biggest thing about spending habits at difference. Having it initially with a person, like actually devoting time to actually having that conversation is probably your best idea, and not just, assuming that the person is going to kind of fall in line with your spending criteria and habits and stuff like that, because that's a mistake. Don't do that. Don't assume that the person has a similar spending habit and they know what to do and stuff like that, because they don't. You need to have a conversation. You
see how Josh assumed we were going to reach for that ticket? Yeah, don't do that.
Get in there. On that ticket. I'm just saying, just reach. Give me one, okay? All right. I'll take the one. But
I get it.
I got this.
Because I've done it to the point to where I've been told, put my wallet away, or, I don't need to bring my wallet anytime that I go out with this particular person. And the only reason I was told that is because I did, offer to pay, or I did, when the check was brought, start reaching down, and they were like, you better put your money away. So I get it. But once you are accustomed to a certain, for lack of a better term, level or standard, then it's like, okay, well, that there's just some things that I, you may just not do or do as often.
Yeah. Okay.
As early on.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I understand that.
Well, we went left, didn't we?
Yeah, we went left and turned the corner. So, yeah, yeah, we did. We went left and turned the corner on that one. But like I said, I think that is the interesting part about adding perspective, I think, so sometimes there are deviations from the particular programming, but it all comes back together. It does. It does. So hopefully with this spending habit episode, hopefully we got some good jewels from it, outside of the laughter, and the comedic moments. Yes. Yeah, because there are a few of those. So it's been another great episode of Adding Perspective with Josh. I'm Josh.
I'm Coach Nrgy. If it's too sensitive to talk about finances, then reconsider dating at that current phase of your life or in this current phase of your life. I'm Coach Nrgy.
I'm Aphrodite.
We out. All right.